Welcome and thank you for checking out my little video. Have you had a recent breakup and want to get your wife back? Have heart, it's not as difficult as you might think, no matter how bad the situation is. The first thing we need to do is to open your lines of communication and get them talking to us again. Frequently after a breakup they won't answer our phone calls or won't return our messages, so let's talk about how to get them to return your calls right away. The first thing we need to talk about is ways that we should not be handling the phone. Are you guilty of drunken dialing? What that is, we go out for drinks with a few of our friends or even by ourselves, and first thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're on the phone with your ex, professing your undying love and saying you'll change and all that. Don't do this. It doesn't work. How about calling your ex several times a day? That doesn't work either, and not only that, it's stalking. It could end up scaring them and getting you into some legal trouble. Have you been text messaging and emailing constantly? That's called text message terrorism. It's another form of stalking and doesn't work. Are you constantly checking your email and voicemail to see if he or she has called? And they haven't. If you want to get your ex to return your calls, there are some magic words that will work when nothing else will. And I mean virtually every single time. But first, let's cover what almost never works. And worse, this will put you in an awful psychological position. Now, there are two types of messages that we tend to leave, and we want to avoid them at all costs. They usually fall into one of two categories. And by the way, I use these same slides to help women get their husbands back, so you'll see some gender difficulties here, but bear with me. But the two types of calls are, first, the plead. This type of call usually sounds like, "John, please call me. This is the third time I've called. I have to talk to you." Second, we have the emergency. "Cindy, this is an emergency. Please call me as soon as you get this." Now, both of these types of messages are doomed to failure, and it doesn't take much to figure out why, so I'm not going to harp on them today. So what do? How do you get your ex to return your calls? It's really very simple. Two of the most powerful forces in the human mind are, one, curiosity, and two, self-interest. The big secret is, when you combine the two, it becomes almost magical and works nearly every single time. Warning though, please have an underlying strategy in place before you call. If you apply this technique with no underlying strategy, when they call you back, and they will, you can do more damage than good if you don't handle it correctly. In other words, what you do before, during, and after you get them to call is more important than getting them to return your call. That's the easy part. So how do we do that? Here's how to get them to return your call. Now here's what you can say that works nearly every single time. Now I'm assuming that they're not answering the phone when you call and they're not returning your messages, but if they did answer the phone and you're talking to them live, this will still work just as well. So in a friendly tone, say, "Hi John, it's Cindy." Or, "Hi Cindy, it's John. I wanted to let you know I appreciate what you did for me. Call me because I want to thank you in person." And then hang up. Do not be tempted to explain anything. Do not be tempted to profess your undying love and all that. Just use these words exactly as written and hang up. Do you see how that uses both curiosity and self-interest? John will not be able to resist, or Cindy. She'll be thinking, what did I do? What does he appreciate? Plus, since it's a positive message, she'll be feeling pretty good about it and won't mind calling you back. Remember the warning. Before you call, you have to do the setup, which means figuring out what he or she did that you appreciate. Now, during your time together, I'm sure they did at least one thing that you appreciated. It doesn't have to be some major thing. Any little thing will work, but it has to be plausible, so that when you tell her you appreciated that, she'll say, well, yeah, I can see where he would appreciate that. Now, this is just the opening move. There's much more, but if you'll follow my system, you will get your ex back fast, and it's not as difficult as you might think. Now, for more information on how to set up the call I just described, and there's a little bit more, these videos have to be kind of short, and to learn the rest of my making up system, go to http://www.theprosays.com makeup.html. I think you'll be impressed with how easy it is to get your ex back and how fast it works as well. No, seriously, go over there right now. Check it out.